Hi, I'm Jonathan,
And I'm Jennifer.
and you're watching A Well-Traveled Life.
Where we will do cool projects around the house.
Travel the world.
Here's to the journey. I've really enjoyed with Jonathan using guided meditation on topics that we both can benefit from, whether it's mindful eating or patience or creativity that are helpful to partnership and both to us as individuals. So we have enjoyed using the Headspace app, and we're able to take that with us when we travel, download the courses that we want to take, and that's also got some really nice daily features that help you check in. We like Andy, he's our guy. I think that Headspace has been just a really great opportunity for us to share in meditation together.
We've tried a couple different guided ones. There are many good ones out there. As Jennifer said, we're not sponsored by anybody. We're not being paid in any way by anybody. We have tried both, is it called Headspace?
Headspace?
That company, and that's our kind of preferred one. The particular guide that we've used on a lot of our meditations really throughout the process, we just like his style, his kind of approach to it, his voice. It's calming. So we've kind of stayed with that, but we've tried some others. We're both Apple Watch wearers. And
not sponsored by them either.
And Apple, through their, I think, Fitness Plus program on your phone, and if you have a watch, also has a mindfulness exercise, and they have guided meditations on there, and not just meditations, but some other mindful activities like walking and different things like that. So those are great too, and I'm sure there are others out there. But
Calm, we've used Calm. Jonathan and I meditate daily, usually in the morning and in the evening. It's just a way we have scheduled our day. We have an alarm that goes off each morning and each evening, and we sort of have agreed that we drop everything that we're doing, or we plan to be available at that time. We come and we meditate together. We used to meditate in our lounge chairs. Now I am back to meditating on the floor, which is where I used to meditate from. And it's just a need for me to feel more in touch with my physical body when I'm in a lounge chair. It can be really easy to just be so cerebral that I'm disconnected from my body. And if I'm really focusing on my breath and focusing on the sensation of meditation, then I feel like I need to be a little more grounded. So it forces posture and forces a little bit of flexibility because I'm sitting cross-legged and I'm trying to keep a straight back.
yeah, for me, and really I want to be even more specific for people who've never meditated before, maybe. We begin, usually the sessions last, guessing, 10 to 15 minutes. I never time them, maybe a little bit longer. We begin with our eyes open in kind of softly focused way. We're looking out a window into our backyard, about like you are. After a few deep breaths, we begin closing our eyes and focusing on the guided part of the message, which is usually just a few words about whatever he's talking about that day. It could be dealing with stress, it could be dealing with eating issues, it could be dealing with family relationships, whatever. He talks a little bit about that. And then we focus initially on our breathing, and then maybe coming back and focusing on how our body feels. And for me, usually I'm in a sitting position. I start at the top of my head and I just kind of feel, how's my body feeling? Maybe I was working out and my shoulders are sore, how do my hips and knees feel, all the way down to my feet. And then I come back and focus on my breathing. And as he will point out, your mind will wander at times. Maybe you're thinking about a car needing repairs or something you've got to do later that day or something else that's on your mind. And that is normal, but when you're meditating, what you try to do is sort of recognize that moment, that thought, and how to characterize that? Is it a feeling about something, or you thinking about something? Is it pleasurable or unpleasurable? And then just kind of letting it go and coming back to the breathing, and which real world terms means coming back what it is you're doing. If you're with your spouse or your best friend, you're focusing on what you're doing together. If you're traveling, if you're sightseeing, if you're reading a book or watching a movie, is focusing on that activity and not letting your mind get caught up in this game we all play, where we're sort of thinking about something that's wearing us and we can't let it go. That's the process for me, is to focus on my breathing, focus on how my body feels, and then coming back at the end to just thinking about how I want to spend the rest of that day living a mindful life.
They call that like setting an intention. So what's your intention for that day, and when do you stop yourself to focus on that intention? Deep breathing for me is really just a way to release. It's a way to focus and release. So the breathing brings me down to the activity that we're going to be doing. The deep breathing fills me and then releases everything from me. I can feel my muscles melt as I exhale. Oftentimes when we're doing that deep breathing, we start with eyes open and what's called like a soft focus or a soft gaze. And it means that you're looking at something without looking for something. So I tend to look out the window, or if I'm outside, I look at nature. That's an easy soft focus gaze for me. Set myself in a place of watching without looking. So sitting, soft focus, deep breaths, eyes closed. And once the eyes close, then it really is just becoming very aware of the body and how the body feels. And when I say feels, I'm probably talking about sensations, either heaviness or it could sometimes be pain, and that's where I really do sort of take account of things that might be hurting. I'm not dwelling on it, I'm not wishing it away, I'm just noting that there might be pain someplace. There might be lightness, there might be ease, there might be space that I'm feeling, and that's always exciting when I note that my body is better. So it's taking stock of the physical self, and then it's sort of letting go of that and recognizing the space around you. Taking stock of the surroundings and knowing what's around you and being very present for each. It's cool air, a breeze, a sound. It could be a smell. If there's a bonfire going or something like that, you might be recognizing all of your senses. And then it's letting go of that, saying, okay, now we're going to go inwards, and it's focusing on breath. And breath work is an interesting thing for me. The more I think about my breath, the more I control my breath. And the whole idea is to not control your breath and to allow your body to do what it naturally does, because it breathes without you ever thinking about it. I really have to work to not control my breath, but instead to recognize my breath. And so I think of it like that. I'm not trying to control the inhalation or the exhalation. I'm trying to recognize what it's doing. What spaces in my body is it filling? Is it labored? Is it hard? Is it fast? Is it shallow? Am I deeply breathing down into my stomach? Am I silently breathing? It's just very much a recognition of what my breath is doing. The reason we focus on breath is it forces us to be very focused on something, and that's what meditation is asking you to do. It's asking you to focus on something immediate and present. By focusing on breath, it allows us to become entirely centered. So meditating together was a really different experience for me, and I wasn't exactly sure what that was going to look or feel like when we first started. Meditation's pretty intimate and personal, and to share the time and the space and the lessons with somebody else is an interesting prospect to take on.
I said earlier that I thought that one of the most important things about meditating is really what it's meant for Jennifer. And this is something that at least twice a day we do together. For me, it's improved my relationship with you. And usually afterward, I'm thinking about whatever the message or lesson, if you will, of the day was. And quite often I'll talk to Jennifer about it. I'll say, well, this is kind of what I heard. Or when you talked about that, this is what I was feeling inside, and how did it make you feel? And we kind of share that experience. And because Jennifer has been meditating longer than I have, and maybe some of the terms that are new to me, are terms that she's very familiar with, we'll talk about it. And I frankly, I get as much out of that experience of talking about it as I do during the actual meditation. And again, as we've said, for me, meditation is something that I do twice a day, but I try to carry it forward with me all day. Whatever I'm doing, if I find myself maybe getting stressed out, or my mind's wandering, or I can't focus on a project, I get angry about something, it's a tool for me to deal with that. And I just stop and I think about, why am I feeling that way? How do I want to feel? And it has become an effective way for me, to deal with those thoughts.
I think we're both using that. And I think the fact that we both know we're participating in this activity, we both know those are tools that we can use. It does happen that we get angry with each other, and we both know that those tools are available to each of us collectively and individually. I know there have been times where we were kind of furious and it was time to meditate, and I was like, I just need to escape into that right now, and I will be better at the end of that. Just give me this time and space to do it. I think that it's not an escape. We understand what each other are doing with that, so it really makes sense, and we value that it's a helpful tool. We're going to come on the other side of that 20 minutes better prepared to deal with whatever the issue was.
While you've been listening to this, if you heard that piercing cry in the background, that is our resident hawk. We have a pair of mating hawks who live in the trees right behind us. We're treated to both the sound of calling out to each other, but also the sight of them flying back and forth. Become a part of our meditation.
One other thing that Jonathan did that I love, and this is part of why I love Jonathan, we started meditating, and we had a couple of those times where we angry meditated, and he came up with a part of our meditation ritual. At the end, we hug each other. And it's a non-negotiable, it's coming. It's one of my favorite parts of the meditation is that it will end with touch, being held. At the end of an angry meditation, I know that I'm coming back together with him, and I love that. Not that I look forward to the angry meditation, but at least I know there's a concrete end to it, and I really love that.
Do try to meditate when we're on the road, whether it's staying someplace or even on a ship.
Best meditation ever, meditating on the balcony at night as the full moon was rising.
Really do want to encourage you to at least give meditation a try. I think it can make a difference in your life. I want to leave you with one other thought about this. If you know us and you're interested in meditation, just give me a call or give Jennifer a call. If you're watching our channel, if you want to know more about it, just leave us a comment or a note, and we'll kind of share